I woke up that morning with a dull ache in my chest. Not physical, not anything you could treat with aspirin. Just hollow. That ache you get when you know something important is supposed to happen, and it doesn't. Like a bell that was supposed to ring, but never did. It was my birthday. I didn't expect balloons or a big surprise party. I'm not that guy. But a card, maybe. A happy birthday, babe, muttered over coffee, or even just a hug. That would have been enough. Instead, the kitchen was empty. The coffee pot was half full, already cold. A mug sat in the sink, rim stained with her lipstick. She'd left for work early. No note. No message. Nothing. I stared at the calendar on the fridge, where I had once, jokingly, written the King's Day in big red letters. She used to laugh at that. Used to kiss me on the cheek and say, "You're such a goof." That red ink was faded now, smudged under a magnet shaped like a lemon. She hadn't even glanced at it in days. The ache deepened. I checked my phone. Not a single message from her. I had over 200 LinkedIn happy birthday notes from people I hadn't spoken to in years. My barber texted me. Even the dentist's office sent a reminder to schedule a cleaning. But from the woman I married? Silence. Around 11:30, she called. My heart lifted a little, stupidly hopeful. "Hey," she said, voice casual, distracted. "Can you pick up sushi for dinner? The girls and I have this work thing after, and I probably won't be home till late." I cleared my throat. "Do you know what today is?" A pause. A long one. Monday?" "No, Em. It's my birthday." Another pause, heavier this time. Then a short laugh. Forced, awkward. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's just been insane at work, and Cassandra's been on my back nonstop. I didn't even realize." It stung more than I wanted to admit. "Right. Don't be like that," she said quickly. "We'll do something this weekend, okay? Just, please grab dinner tonight. I really have to go." Click. I stood there for a while, phone still in my hand. Then I looked around our quiet condo. The plants she always forgot to water. The painting we picked out in Maui. The wedding photo still hanging by the door. None of her friends even knew she was married. That hit me harder than the rest. She always called me E. Never my husband. Just E. Like I was a roommate or a live-in assistant. I'd met a few of her co-workers in passing. Always brief, always awkward. They assumed I was some consultant or maybe a cousin. She never corrected them. I let it slide. Again and again. Told myself she just wanted to keep work and personal life separate. But deep down I knew. I knew the truth. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I picked up my phone and called Cassandra. Her boss. Her terrifying, designer suit-wearing boss who once stared through me like I was made of glass. She answered, surprised. "Eli." "Hi. Yeah, it's Eli. Emma's husband." "Oh." A pause. "Right. I was wondering. Emma said you're doing a dinner tonight for the team?" "Yes. It's a small team social at Celine's." "Why?" "Mind if I come along? I thought it'd be nice to meet the people she spends so much time with." Another pause. A little too long. "Well, I guess that's fine. It's not formal or anything." "Great," I said, keeping my voice chipper. "Looking forward to it." I showed up wearing the jacket Emma gave me last Christmas, the one she said made me look like a man who owns things. I arrived early, reserved a private table under her name, and waited. They arrived in a noisy cluster around 7:30. Laughter, perfume, heels clicking. Emma was in the middle, radiant in a green dress I'd never seen before. When her eyes landed on me, something changed. Her step faltered, smile dimmed. She recovered quickly, but not quick enough. "Oh my God, is that your boyfriend?" One of the women whispered, not so quietly. Emma stiffened. Actually, that's my husband." The entire table went still. I stood, smiled warmly, and pulled out a chair for her. "Happy to finally meet you all," I said. "Emma's told me so much about you." Which was a lie. She hadn't told me a single thing. They recovered, kind of. Ordered drinks. Laughed too loud. Talked too fast. Emma barely touched her food. I watched her, watched how she avoided eye contact, how she played with her bracelet like it was a nervous tick. And then I raised my glass. "Before we eat," I said, standing slowly, "I just want to make a quick toast." Emma's eyes snapped up. "Eli, I won't take long," I said gently. Everyone quieted. Forks clinked against plates. The mood shifted, curiosity, tension. "I just want to thank all of you for being here tonight," I began. "Especially on a day that means a lot to me. See, today's my birthday, and I wasn't expecting to celebrate. But your warmth, your hospitality, it's meant more than you know. A murmur of awkward laughter. One woman whispered, "Wait, it's his birthday?" "And what makes this moment even more special," I continued, turning slightly toward Emma, "is discovering how much love can change shape. Sometimes invisibly, sometimes heartbreakingly." Emma's face went pale. Her wine glass trembled in her hand. "She forgot," I said simply, voice calm. "But you all helped me remember. So, truly, thank you." I raised my glass, and everyone, uncertain, half guilty, murmured cheers. Glasses clinked, but no one was looking at each other. They were looking at her. The silence after was louder than the toast. And in that quiet, I watched the color drain from her face. I don't remember much of the meal after that. I remember the mechanics, slicing through salmon with the edge of my fork, sipping wine I couldn't taste, nodding politely as someone across from me tried to make small talk about marketing trends. But I wasn't really there. Not in that moment. I was watching her. Emma. She kept glancing at me, then away, like I was a ghost she wasn't expecting to see. Her face, usually poised, guarded, was unraveling. Slowly, quietly. It was in the way her hands wouldn't stop fidgeting, the way her smile came a second too late, the way she barely touched her food. She was unraveling, and I didn't say a word. After dinner, someone suggested moving to the lounge for drinks. I declined, said I had work early the next morning. A lie, of course. I had nothing planned. Just the silence of our condo and an untouched cake I'd bought for myself, still sitting in the fridge. Emma followed me out. "Eli," she said, grabbing my arm. "What was that?" I turned to face her. "A toast." Her mouth opened, then closed. She pulled me a few feet away from the restaurant entrance, out of view. "You blindsided me. What the hell were you trying to prove?" "That I exist," I said softly. "That I matter. That I'm not invisible." She stared at me like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. Maybe she didn't. Maybe I didn't either. "I was going to plan something," she muttered. "This weekend. I just got busy. I wasn't looking for a party, Em. I just wanted to be seen." Her expression hardened. "You ambushed me. In front of everyone." "No," I said, shaking my head. "You did that months ago, when you started hiding me." That was the thing. It hadn't started that night. That dinner was just the spark that finally caught fire. I'd been feeling it for over a year. The slow fade, the excuses, the just colleagues' texts, the half-truths. She'd stopped wearing her ring to work, said it made her hands sweat when typing. Stopped posting photos of us, saying couples' content felt forced. At first, I believed her, wanted to believe her, but it kept piling up, little things. A second phone, she said, was for client emergencies. Deleted call logs. Dinners that ran too long. Trips with the girls where her location would go dark for hours. "You think I'm cheating?" she asked, now voice sharp. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. The question had already been answered long before this night. Maybe not in hard evidence, not in caught-in-the-act clarity, but in absence, in indifference, in the space where love used to live. She stepped back. "This is insane. You embarrassed me. You made me look single," I said, "like you've been telling people you are." Her lips parted. Nothing came out. I looked down at her hand. No ring. "Of course. You introduced me once," I said, "to a woman named Liana. She called me your housemate. Remember that?" You laughed. "It was a joke," she said, but the words were hollow. "I used to think I was losing you," I told her. "Now I realize I was never even allowed to show up." We stood there for a long beat. The lights from the restaurant glowed behind her like stage lights, casting her in the kind of warmth she always seemed to bask in. But tonight, it made her look small. "I'm sorry," she said finally. "It wasn't much. It wasn't enough." I nodded. "I know." I walked away then. Got into my car, hands trembling just slightly on the steering wheel. My phone buzzed with a notification. Someone had tagged me in a story. I opened it out of habit. It was a photo of the toast. Someone from the table had taken a video. Me, standing with glass raised, face calm, voice level, as I thanked the women for helping me feel seen. The caption read, "When the husband she never mentioned shows up and drops this on her birthday." Iconic. I didn't laugh. Not at first. But as I sat there, watching the video loop, I felt something shift inside me. Not revenge. Not vindication. Just release. Like I had finally said something that had been choking me for months. That video was viewed over 40,000 times by morning, then 100,000, then more. They started commenting. Why do people hide their spouses like this? She forgot his birthday? The way she just sat there? I gasped. Someone called me the birthday toast guy. Another called it the pettiest act of classy revenge they'd ever seen. I didn't respond. I wasn't doing it for attention. But the truth has a funny way of echoing once it's out in the open. That night was supposed to be quiet, lonely, just me and a candle in the dark. Instead, it became something else entirely. And Emma? Well, she wasn't ready for what came next. The first message came at 6:42 a.m. Unknown number. Just one line. Man, you really lit a fire. I didn't respond. My phone didn't stop buzzing for the next 4 hours. Mentions, DMs, articles. A few local blogs picked it up. Then someone clipped the video into a TikTok with dramatic music and bold captions. Then the real internet got a hold of it. They didn't know our names, not yet. Just faces blurred in dim restaurant lighting. But they knew enough. Enough to feel it. Enough to pick sides. And overwhelmingly, they picked mine. It wasn't about revenge, I realized. It was recognition. People resonated with that quiet ache of being forgotten by the one person who's supposed to remember you most. By noon, it was on BuzzFeed's trending page. Husband's birthday toast at wife's work dinner is the most subtle mic drop of the year. And Emma? She texted me at 12:17 p.m. Emma, you're enjoying this? I didn't reply. Emma, this is humiliating. I can't even walk into work without people whispering. Again, I stayed silent. Then she called. I let it ring. A minute later, voicemail. Her voice was tight, like she was trying not to cry. You've made your point. Congratulations. Everyone knows now. I don't know what you were trying to prove, but this isn't just about us anymore, Eli. This is everywhere. My team's seen it. My clients. My boss is asking if I've been misleading them. You've made a mess. I sat there listening to that message on loop. The thing that struck me wasn't her voice or the words. It was the we. The sudden return of us. That word hadn't left her mouth in months. By 4 p.m., someone on Reddit had figured out who we were. People dug up old photos, vacation posts she hadn't deleted yet, wedding shots from my private Facebook account. My name trended locally for a brief window. And that's when the real fallout started. Cassandra, her boss, posted a vague statement on LinkedIn about team transparency and values of trust. One of Emma's colleagues leaked a Slack conversation where she bragged about keeping work Emma separate from wife Emma. That thread alone had over 10,000 upvotes in a day. She tried to stay quiet. I could see it. Her accounts went dark. But silence online is just a vacuum for speculation. 3 days after the video went viral, she showed up at the condo. I hadn't seen her since the dinner. She looked exhausted, hair tied back, no makeup, wearing one of my old hoodies she used to sleep in. I opened the door and let her in. For a moment, we just stood there. Eli, she began, voice quiet. I don't even know where to start. How about with the truth? I said. She nodded, swallowing hard. I didn't mean to hide you. At first, it was easier. At work, everyone's single, everyone's hustling. Being married felt like a weakness. I didn't think it mattered. I stayed silent. But I was wrong, she continued. It did matter. And the fact that I forgot your birthday? That I made you feel like a stranger in your own relationship? That's on me. I failed you. She looked down at her hands. No ring. I didn't know if she noticed that anymore. Why didn't you tell me how far gone you felt? She whispered. I met her eyes. I did. You just stopped listening. Tears welled in her eyes, but she blinked them back. I don't know if this is fixable. Neither do I. A long pause. She nodded slowly, then reached into her coat pocket and placed her key on the counter. I'll give you space, she said. Just, please don't hate me. I don't hate you, I said. I'm just finally loving myself more. That night, I sat on the balcony alone, a blanket over my shoulders, watching the city lights flicker like faraway stars. My phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from a stranger. Thank you. I didn't know how to say it to my husband. You gave me the words. I stared at that message for a long time. Let it sink in. What started as heartbreak had turned into something unexpected. A mirror held up not just to Emma, but to people everywhere who'd lost themselves in silence. It wasn't about going viral. It wasn't even about her. It was about being seen. I didn't know what would happen next. Whether she and I would talk again, whether something buried could be rebuilt. I wasn't rushing to decide. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't reacting. I was just breathing. And sometimes, that's where healing begins. Not in the noise, not in the drama, but in the moment you stop begging to be remembered and start choosing to remember yourself.